up, we're going to be calling on our next speaker, Mr. Olasunkanmi Opeifa. Are you here, Mr.? So we'll be hearing from you in a bit. He is the Multina Teacher of the Year 2018. Mr. Opeifa, are you here?
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Hello, sir. I see your face a lot on LinkedIn. The phenomenon.
Oh,
All
really?
right. Yes, please. He's surprised. Don't be surprised. Any teacher in town should know you. All right. Especially serious teachers, right? Okay, so by the way, congratulations on your achievement. Well done. Well done.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. So our discussion with you today, so we're looking at how do you believe the age at which a student enters school affects their ability to handle social and emotional pressure?
I must say once again, good morning to my leaders, those who have spoken ahead, and especially Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo, our special mother, someone who really laid the foundation for Lagos education, and we can still feel in the transformation, we can still feel the transformation to today. And to the wonderful thought of Dr. Dahiru, that was great. And I would like to start, if you don't mind, let me just lend about 30 seconds to 1 minute of this my time to what Dr. Dahiru started with. It's interesting to see that in this country, some policymakers will just sleep and wake up and then drop something on us. I mean, you remember what was said about the changing curriculum when we just threw trade on to us, remove biology as a special subject. I mean, as our compulsory subject, our languages was turned to elective. And interestingly, look at this part now. Computer science that used to be compulsory all around became elective. That happened 10 years ago. Now, see where the world is now, see where Nigeria is. I made a post recently on that, we are doing little, and the world is just moving far ahead of us anyway. So here we are, we just look at we do, what do you call it now, policy without any statistics to back this up or any research at all. And I think we just need to do more than this. Educators just need to wake up and hold some people responsible. Before you will say that we are going to peg education admission to 18 years, what research is supporting this? How many students do we have writing UTME every year that do not have opportunity to gain admission to the university that will now stay? What is the age of getting a job in this country in the first place? Now you can imagine me now having to write UTME for 5 years when I'm 18, added to my age, added to ASU strike and everything, a whole lot of things that we just need to address. Now, we talk about policy making now without checking the foundation. Is it my fault that I graduated at the age of 15, 16? No. My mother said at the age of 5 that I should write common entrance, and I jumped into GSS2 even in my own case. And see me now, I now want to gain admission. You asked me to stay at home. Unfortunately, I've lost my father. I'm just doing a typical example. I've lost my father. Nobody to now bridge the gap between 15 years and 18 years. I stay there. I become an Agberu all of a sudden. I mean, a whole lot of things we just need to look at and the foundation. Can we make our private education, private schools to stay back and do exactly 6 years? Unfortunately, I'm living in a particular community now where all the private schools in my community, none of them have primary 6. My children now jump from primary 5 to GSS1. And one day I started, I had to look at my second son that this boy gradually now will finish secondary school at the age of 14. I started looking at it. Now, what's the foundation again? My wife is a working woman. I am a working man. I actually stay at home. So we have to drop them and what do you call it now, very early in life. I just woke up one day that my little daughter now is already in primary 2 at the age of 6. By the time you calculate that now, that poor girl will graduate very too early, and then you want me to cover the gap for her? No. Now look at so many other things we want to look at now, but because of our time, I won't want to look at that. Finally, there under that is the misalignment of our culture. We are talking about education in total separation of the reality in the society. The way we handle education is just one department that is just not in sync. So you now graduate and then you go into the world to start living all over again. But let me jump into the question now quickly. We talk about age and maturity. I totally agree with it. We did this in psychology of education, that you grow both cognitively, even culturally, socially, according to your age. Is that. But side by side with age is what we are missing out. That is exposure. Forget it. If we sustain these children for 18 years in school and they do not have the required exposure, we are just going to produce a big baby at the end of the day that will still enter the university and will still be as immature and will still need to go through the process of learning by experience. I will use myself as an example. I gained admission at almost 18. I finished around July when I was 17. And then by November, I got this luck that, okay, I'd been given the course of my choice, education. And by March, I became 18, the second year. So I should be a typical example of what the policy is talking about. But when I entered the university, I was more of like a misfit. I had more people who have one older. The secondary school did not prepare me for the reality of the university. There is this, and up to now, there's this big gap between education we receive in secondary school and what is there in the university. Forget whether private school or not, forget you are a brilliant student. The exposure, I was one of the best in school, but the exposure I had was just limited to that, and I could hardly cope. It took me a whole year before I could cope with what was happening in Lagos State University. Now, that same year, we were about 3 that seemed somewhat young. A young guy came at the age of 25. I think when he graduated, he had interned at a co-FM or something like that. And then he had to write UTME all over again. He had never gone to university before, but I think he did some internship as a broadcaster. Then he came back to study English language in Lagos State University. He became our lecturer. He was teaching us he was the one organizing tutorials for us. I heard the word cosmopolitan from him for the first time, and so many other words. Now, what makes the difference between him and us? He had the real life experience that we've been talking about now. The gap, who covered it for him? Life covered it for him anyway. Baby, myself, Rachel, all of us young ones, we were just sincerely, we were so we could not fit into the university to the point that one of us became an unnecessary pastor in the fellowship because she preferred to go to the fellowship more than to come to the classroom. I struggled all through. I almost dropped out. The other girl was just, we were discussing this earlier today now. She was just totally confused. A lecturer will come to your class and then, Nigerian lecturers anyway, what do they want to do? So mainly, age is not just the only thing. Age it is, I agree. But if we do not give them the required exposure in our school, and interestingly, our secondary school curriculum is as good as what was useless now when my grandfather went to school. Imagine the same definition of economics is still what we still have now. I must put it to all economists in the house, if there's anyone, that there is a total different definition of economics now if you look at Nigerian context. The definition of democracy in Nigerian context is totally different from what we have in our book, sincerely. So why are we now teaching education that is totally different? And then we now carry ourselves to the university now. You can imagine the mismatch there. So I agree totally anyway, that age it is. But while they are still growing, what exposure are we giving them? At what point are we introducing them to critical thinking properly, beyond rote learning? At what point are we introducing them to communication properly? That's what we've just had here now. Fantastic communication here now. How many secondary school students, even teachers, could sit down like this and say, okay, let's have a conversation, meaningful one. At what point are we training teachers to give the required knowledge? The teachers that do not even know, cannot even give what they don't have. So a whole lot of things that we just need to cover within the space of saying age. So age is it is. However, what exposure are we giving these children to go with? I wouldn't know whether I still have an opportunity to come back again, but I would like to stop here. If I come back again, we'll be talking about some other parts of what we just need to do to make a difference there. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'll just allow you quickly add that thought of what you can do to make a difference so that you won't need to come back.
All right, so no problem. In a few minutes, I think I should just be done with that.
You can just do that in a minute.
In a minute, no problem. It's what I'm just seeing in front of me now. Somebody is talking about curriculum now. I think somebody has just said that our curriculum has changed. May I just say that our needs have changed. Our needs in society have changed, but our curriculum remain the same, competing with God, the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So I think it's just time for us to now be very intentional. I can see great educators in the house. Can we make it a responsibility, just like the way the sports people did and the pension people did, and we walk to Ministry of Education and tell them enough is enough? Can we introduce self properly into education? Whereas when our students are graduating, they are graduating with the right required skill. The teachers is okay. Let me give an example quickly of this. I have 2 students in front of me on Sunday to present something to parents as a National Day program. Okay. In 5 minutes, a particular student was able to cram about 4 stanzas of Gabriel Okara's Once Upon a Time poem. Another one who did very well in the classroom that could analyze the poem did not have the ability to cram. But because of what we wanted to test, we had to use the one that crammed to present. Now imagine we are now testing reality. And that's what our education tests. We test what we can cram. The girl that did fantastically well did not have a chance. The one that could cram and present for the pride of it had a chance. So it is high time we just sat down and look into it. What's our goal even as a country? You are saying the child is still in 18 years. The 18-year child does not even understand the national goal, does not understand the national vision. So let's talk about the national vision. Let's break our education into that. You may not need to even copy UK or US. You may discover that your child can be exposed enough at the age of 16 and have a particular kind of education, not necessarily university, that can take him on and make him useful in the society. I mean, it's just a call to all our friends and all our senior ones before you go away from this space of education that please, can you support us and let's work again to Ministry of Education and let's make them do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you once again, Mr. Opeifa. It was good having you here. Well done. Thank you.